Close enough to 10. We're going to go ahead and open up our regular session of January 3rd, 2018. Please silence or shut off your cell phones if you would. And please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So Melanie, correction on the agenda is public comment shortly after the session's open. We have a deletion from yesterday, the IT department, Rico.
Yes.
We have addition of minutes. And what else did I, anything else?
I think that was all.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's no public unless Jimmy has some public comments.
I'm okay.
Not today.
Not
All right.
today.
We actually, another mistakes I made was we have things timed today on the regular session. I should have had you not time those.
Not time, okay.
Nobody's coming in for those that I'm aware of, but and they're listed as time, we better, just in case somebody out there, the public, is seeing it. Okay, so we'll move to other business. Road Department fund exchange, might as well get that one taken care of. We had Kevin before us yesterday. Annually, we have this come through us. So I have no further questions or anything.
No, I don't either. I'll just add, I'll continue a little discussion on TV white space at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
I had to do a little more research on it, get myself up to speed.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the contract and agreement number 3245 dealing with the fund exchange of federal dollars. On a 94 cents on the dollar exchange rate as presented.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the fund exchange agreement as stated. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries. All right. So, yesterday we took care of the ratification, but we do have the director from Community Corrections / Juvenile here before us today. And we have the transport vehicle. Correct? Is that the only thing you have today, Jake?
Excuse me?
That's the only thing left on yours to do is that. So we had this presentation before us yesterday. This is, in my words, basically a stopgap as the Community Corrections Department has been given notice from the Sheriff's Department that they will no longer do transports. Jake has followed up, found a vehicle at a reasonable price, fully equipped, inclusive of a radio for $3,750. And so he's making that recommendation to us.
I just wanted to add one thing to that I didn't mention yesterday. This vehicle will also be used for juvenile transports. Should I hear from the Sheriff's Office that they will no longer be doing juvenile transports for us either. So we'll be using the vehicle, it'll be dual purpose, adult and juvenile.
Do you, well, since you brought that up, Jake, do you have an agreement with them now, the Sheriff's Department, to do juvenile transports? And if so, do you compensate them?
You know, I don't know if there's anything, a written agreement, but when I came on board in 2012, the Sheriff's Office did all our juvenile transports to detention for us.
Okay.
All the transports.
Right.
In the event they weren't available or they were tied up, we transported. So that's the way it's been, but I understand with staffing levels, the calls of service, and their main transport individual, Jimmy Dean Robinson, being out of state till sometime this spring, they're shorthanded. So I just assume the writing's on the wall that we'll be doing juvenile transports as well, so.
Okay, thank you.
The vehicle will serve a dual purpose.
Ensure with their short staffing, they'll focus on their primary duties, and your office will focus on your primary duty of transport.
Sure.
Kind of the message I got.
What's that?
That's the message I got from the sheriff.
I can just read the letter. I didn't have a conversation with the sheriff. He sent it to me over email.
Basically, this short staffing and excess number of calls increasing all the time.
Okay.
So budgetary, we should see maybe a bump in the juvenile costs going up whenever you present your budget this year, and a reduction in theirs because they shouldn't be using their temporary part-time person for transports as much. Just talking budgetary, trying to prepare for budget time. In juvenile, we may see a little bit of difference.
We will see, well, we will have to see a little bit of difference.
Yep.
Because those transports can come Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but they can also come at 12 o'clock at night on a Saturday night.
Right.
So there
And you have
could
to
be,
build in a little bit of overtime to cover that.
there could be an increase in overtime, absolutely. On the adult side, I'm trying to, with Charlie Tracy from the Department of Human Services, Child Welfare, she's retiring at the end of this month. She's asked about any potential transports, so I could have some part-time help there, depending on her availability. So there could be an increase in overtime and an increase in a lot of little things.
Temporary part-time position.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we'll make it right.
So entertain a motion?
To purchase the vehicle,
Yeah.
I also make the motion.
I'll second it to purchase the 2002 Chevy Tahoe from the town of Lakeview by Lake County Community Justice in the amount of $33,750.
Did you say 33,000?
$3,750.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the purchase of the vehicle. This is through intergovernmentally, so it's allowable without having to go out for 3 quotes. Probably should be stated. And I know, Jake, you're working with Melanie to make sure it's in the fleet, so she has a jacket for it and all that. Thank you, I appreciate it. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. Thank you for your work on that, Jake.
Yes, Jake, thank you.
Okay.
See you later.
Turn the page to the Dolly Park. We have the Warner Creek inmate work program work order. Dave Berman presented this yesterday. In his words, it was to update it for the needs that we have with Warner Creek. So the agreement's been updated. I see, I believe, have to find the cover sheet, but ran by legal counsel, if I remember right. I don't see a cover sheet.
Yeah, I didn't see one either.
So if you guys are good with the agreement, entertain a motion on it.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Exhibit A, the DOC inmate work order program, work order for Oregon Department of Corrections, Warner Creek Correction Facility in Lake County as presented.
Second motion. And could you, I don't know if we covered it for the audience yesterday, the type of work that they would be utilizing the inmates for.
Well, the motion's been made and seconded, discussion. Yesterday, whenever Dave was talking about this, a lot of this was like with the rack project up on the ski hill. We talked about that yesterday, mentioned that. And so getting the work crews out on qualifying projects out there. And,
As needed.
yeah. Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carries.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's 10 grand.
10:10, thank you, Commissioner. We have our City of Paisley request, came before us yesterday on the heating slash cooling system for the Paisley Community Center. As you guys are both very much aware, I've been working with City of Paisley for a while. Their need has been there. I don't know if either one of you had a chance to talk with Ann yesterday, but my recommendation, and I'll go ahead and make a motion to, I'd like to make a motion to support up to $5,000 to the City of Paisley for their heating and cooling system. $2,500 that coming from the video lottery fund and $2,500 coming out of the community development fund, and that would be as a grant on the community development side, which would equal to $5,000.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded, as stated. Further discussion?
Yeah, I'd support because I'm very familiar with that heater in there, and they do need it. I was somewhat at a loss yesterday. Have they pursued any other funding, like city fundraiser activities, anything to help contribute?
Only thing I know for sure, Commissioner, is the $90 that they've been able to create from their local fundraiser that he mentioned yesterday. I did not get into the depths of what other avenues they've tried.
Yeah.
Other than that, I know they've been working on this for some time. They could have missed some or whatever, but
Yeah.
any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. So, whizzing through this, we have minutes. We have minutes of December, what was that date? 20, and January 2nd. You guys have reviewed those. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of December 20th, 2017.
Copy I got here says January 20. That's been corrected.
Yes, sir.
I will state, that had been seconded, but there was some corrections, so the motion might mention with corrections because of the date.
Yeah, I went off the corrected copy.
You have the corrected copy?
Yes.
And then I had Melanie add on the executive session, what we went under,
Okay.
and when we came in, went out of that. So that's the corrections that I asked for.
And I was gone on cybersecurity session, didn't like that day. So
On the first part of you there, the second part of it, so you need, I'll
I
second.
was back that the afternoon.
Yeah, I'll second motion with corrections,
Okay.
or the additions or the scrivener errors.
Yep.
Any further discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, say aye.
Abstain.
Aye, motion carries. We had one abstention on that. We have January 2nd before us. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of January 2nd, 2018.
I'll second it with one correction. I haven't had time to peruse it, but just a little typo.
Okay.
On the latest on the update on TV night space, it's white.
Oh, okay.
White.
I will correct that.
The motion and second with scrivener error corrected. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Aye, motion carried. I got to vote, don't I?
Yeah.
I need to vote. So Ken, we have some time here just because we have the timed item. You wanted to give a bit more of an update on fight space?
Yes, I was late coming in this morning because I was down visiting local ISP to get their opinion. This proposal to use a couple of bands of radio signal that is freed up and not being used can be used for internet broadcast, but it's not for long distance. It's up to 10 miles if there's no interference. But it's more like a super Wi-Fi. In other words, if you got a little base unit out on your ranch, 10 miles out, you can pretty much, typically, if you have Wi-Fi at your house, you walk about 10 or 20 yards, you lose it. This would expand up to 10 miles if it's straight. But if it's in terrain or canyon with curving through, that 10 miles might come down to 6 or 5 or 4 or 3. But it's like I mentioned yesterday, the Association of Urban Counties is behind it on this coalition to promote FCC to open up those few spaces up for internet. Cover Oregon Technology Association behind it, multiple counties, Grant, Morrow, etc., all behind it. And talking with our local ISP, I haven't talked to others like Bowser and such, but the equipment would be, for a small ISP to use it, the equipment is kind of spendy. So they don't foresee anything like this. But the push is to get Oregon as a whole. And in many places, like in Grand Canyon, you got sad canyons and things like that would benefit. Chensicasto place over in Applegate would be ideal for that, going up canyons and so forth. So we can either, it don't cost us anything, it's just say, yes, it's another tool in the toolbox and we support it. And I'd like to have you guys, if you have any questions.
What was the last part you said?
If you have any questions on it.
Well, like I said, I'm probably the most naive on all of this technology, from broadband to all this. Any tools we can have out there that can help, what we consider frontier rural areas, or even if you get over on the, I would assume on the west side of Oregon where there's very steep terrain, it might be a benefit, quite a benefit there for areas. So you need a letter of support from the board?
Well, I've got a couple of template letters that's been provided that we just need to sign, or a designated person. I'm the liaison to telecommunications, that'd be fine. But I would like to go through and finesse those letters because they're about a page and a half. I'd like to get them down to succinct, brief, to the point, and customize it to be our support instead of some.
Well, absolutely, I agree with that concept, Ken, because of whenever we get letters, if they're too long and too technical,
Yeah.
that's about what you remember about it.
Yeah. So let me finesse those. I won't have time today, but sometime tomorrow or first of next week, and I'll pass it by you.
Yeah,
But
AOC is supporting this.
at least the info I got was, and I talked with Chris Cameron, the Oregon Business Telecommunication person yesterday.
So this is a congressional, people need to open this up.
Yes. Specifically Greg Warren, because he's the House Chair of the Energy and Commerce Committee, for which FCC is underneath. And there is some opposition by the Broadcast Association, American Broadcast Association. They are a radio association of radio broadcasters. And this little narrow white band in there, if they're concerned that it might interfere. I agree with their concern, but several years ago, a lot of space was freed up for satellite, and it did cause interference, and FCC came in and corrected it. So if there happened to be some problems there, then, but it's basically a support letter to, in effect, to Chairman Greg Warren.
Okay.
So I'll finesse the letter and ship it around before I send it off.
Okay.
And I suspect a lot of the, like in talking with our local ISP, TNET, the equipment's actually been in use by Carson Wireless Technology since 2005. Other countries actually use it, but they don't have this, every country kind of manage their radio frequency spectrum differently. And United Kingdom uses it, Canada uses it, Indonesia, Australia. It's just, our problem is how we divvy up the spectrum to only be able to fit it in a tight spot.
Okay,
So I'll put that and send it around, see what's the thing.
okay, and apologize to you one more time, Melanie. On our format, we always have legal updates on Wednesdays. That's not on there, so I'd like to add legal updates. I'm not sure, I did email with Jim Bailey this morning, but I do want to take a 5-minute recess till our time, 10:25, go touch base, and because I anticipated one, but I'm not sure, never got an email back. So,
Okay,
5-minute recess.